Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago I was talking about fitting a steering damper to this bike because I had to have such a very, very slight weave if I was really pushing it around corners. Well, I tried to film the weave and it was so slight I couldn't catch it on camera. So I can't show you what was going on, but basically I've now got a steering damper, and and I've just fitted it. There are numerous ways you can fit it. On this bike you're a bit limited for space because in the past I've mounted them on the forks and against the frame, but I've got tank, radiator, exhaust, I've got so many things getting in the way that basically you only need to mount it to a solid part of the bike that doesn't turn, and any part of the forks, which would include the handlebars, that does turn. So now this is what I've done. Let me move my stall up so I can get a decent picture of this. Now, I didn't know about these, I'd never noticed them before, but if you look up there, it's bolted to the frame. Now, I didn't know there's two threaded holes up there that allow all the weather and crap to get in them, and I suspect that they're probably for other models of Triumph Twin that use the same frame but have twin front discs, and I suspect that that is a mounting point for the junction box, if you like, for the brake lines. So even if you're not doing a steering damper conversion like I have, it might not be a bad idea to put two 6mm bolts, or maybe plastic bungs, or even silicone, put something in those holes just to stop the weather from getting in. I didn't even know they were there until I was looking to mount my steering damper. Anyway, I made a bracket. That's made out of a piece of aluminium angle, bent to suit the shape and get the actual damper into the position that I wanted it in. And now I've got full travel all the way to the lock in both directions. So it's a non-adjustable damper, this. I thought, rather than spend a load of money on something that's an experiment, I'll just buy a cheap one and we'll see how we get along with it, see if it works, and that's basically what I've done. If it has an effect, if it works but doesn't work well enough, I'll get an adjustable one. If it does work, I'll stick with it. I was basically just saving money on this. I just noticed that's popped out of its holder as well. So there you have it. It's a it flexes the brake pipe a little bit more than I'd like. I might just adjust that brake pipe downhill ever so slightly. Although, of course, you're only ever on full lock or a decent amount of lock when you're parking it. You don't use full lock generally when you're riding it. So I'll just keep an eye on that brake line, but I think I might do, in fact I might do that just now. I might just see if I can adjust that downhill ever so slightly. Right, I've adjusted the angle of that now, and although it still taps it on full lock, I could possibly go down a little further. I had to just, let me show you what I had to do. That bolt there, which is 14mm, I just loosened it a tiny bit, not enough for it to leak or anything. So I haven't bled the brakes, haven't messed with the brakes, just loosened that enough and just tapped that union downhill a little bit. There's enough, more than enough slack on it, just to avoid the steering damper when I'm on full lock to the left. So anyway, I should try that out. We'll see how it goes, and I'll report back. Nothing else has happened in the meantime. Something I am considering doing, because I've been making these films for a little while now, I've noticed there's quite a few new kids on the block who are doing far more successful and far better at it than I am. But they've got themselves an introduction, like a little 10-15 second introduction video that they put on the front of all of their films. So I actually might make an intro. I've got a few things in my mind. We'll see what I can come up with, and I'll get 2 films. Well, I'll get quite a few films out of that if I'm successful, because I will make a film of the making of it. So that's something. I've got a few ideas in my head. Watch this space and you may well see me making a complete haulix of making an intro video. Right, now I've been out for a blast on it, just a local blast. I didn't film it, I just wanted to check that everything was okay, and it works a treat. It's got rid of the gentle weave that I was suffering with. The only thing I've had to do just now is I've moved that bracket, I've rotated it slightly, because this was, the actual arm was getting pretty close to the rubber boot here, and I didn't want to wear that out or do any damage to that, so I've actually moved that around, and still got full lock and damping, and in actual fact I could have got away with a smaller, a shorter damper, which is something I might do in the future. We'll see. I'll live with this for a little while, see how I get along with it, see how it performs, and maybe I'll change it, maybe I won't. Now, I did have somebody, I went to Dragon Soul Cafe and had a coffee, which is only about 7 or 8 miles up the road from where I live, and somebody said to me, but aren't you going to clamp that with the mud guard? And the truth is, even if I were to bottom the suspension out, which I've never done, but if I were to, it would still be a long way away. And if you look at the how far it hangs down, it does hang down a bit, but the mud guard would be banging into the radiator and the rectifier and a lot of other things before it starts hitting that. So that's not a concern. Anyway, top tip for today is, even if you're not fitting a steering damper, certainly consider putting a couple of 6mm bolts in those 2 holes. Now, here's my cat, or one of them, and just to blank them off from the weather. But if you are fitting a steering damper, that's a good place to fit it. Thanks for watching. Give me a like and a subscribe if you would. Leave a comment, ask me a question, share the video, do whatever it is that you need to do that will keep me and YouTube happy, and I'll see you soon.